Hey guys, hope you're all having a great day. In today's video, I have two evergreens that I'm going to be putting in the garden, and they both happen to have blue tones, so let's take a look at them. So here's the two that I have. They're both on the smaller side right now. This one here is called a Pinpoint Blue False Cypress. This is actually a Lawson cypress, or Chamaecyparis lawsoniana. This is a really cool cypress, and I really want to add some more blue tones to the landscape. So you can see, especially kind of the underside of these leaves, you get a lot of those bluer tones, and it's very upright. So I'll talk about all this specific information with these once they're in the ground, so you can kind of see how they're going to fill in that spot. But then the other one is this true blue sawara cypress, and you can see it has kind of that same effect of the other one, but obviously just a different look. And this is not pokey at all. Like, I can put my hand right on top of this and it's nice and soft. It's like I actually want to pet this. So it's a nice little ball now. But the size of this is going to be kind of interesting. We'll see. I mean, this tag does say 3 to 4 feet tall, 2 to 3 feet wide, but I'll do further explaining at the end of how big I actually think this is going to end up getting. I know exactly where I'm going to be putting the Pinpoint Blue False Cypress. However, the True Blue Sawara Cypress, I don't know exactly where I want to put it. So I'm going to have to make a decision and just put it in the ground, and we'll hope that I make a good decision. So let's get these in the ground and I'll show you where they go. Okay, plants are in the ground. Let's take a look at where they are. So first up is this Pinpoint Blue False Cypress. So this cypress is ideally going to want full sun, but it can tolerate part shade. It's hardy in zones 5 through 7, and if you think about green giant arborvitaes, because a lot of people like to put those in their landscapes, it'll survive in pretty much the same zones as those, and then it'll get about 15 to 20 feet tall by only about 3 to 5 feet wide. So the idea of this is that I have a limelight hydrangea here, which that will end up getting about 8 feet tall and wide. So I have it about 5 to 6 feet spaced apart from this Chamaecyparis. So my idea was to have this grow out just a little bit, that will grow out a little bit more, and they'll hopefully just touch to each other. And this will be a really beautiful evergreen interest plant for the winter time, especially right now actually, as it's just starting to get cold for the season. You can see the beautiful blue color that it has here, and very, very upright. If you take a look at this branch, you can see it goes pretty much straight up, which is why it naturally only gets about 3 to 5 feet wide. I'll quickly mention too that I did plant some grass seed here about a month and a half ago, and it's actually starting to fill in pretty well now. I've also got my Brunt work boots on that they sent out to me, and totally not sponsored or anything like that, but they actually are really nice. I ended up working with them when planting these today. and they seem really comfortable. And I also feel comfortable enough to walk on this grass, so it seems to be doing pretty well so far. The other hope as it continues to grow is I'm standing like right here where the deck is right here, which is, you know, where I am more of the time. So hopefully as this continues to grow, it'll give us a little bit more privacy from the houses and just make this backyard feel a little bit more closed in. Now next up is this tiny little evergreen, the True Blue Sawara Cypress, which just so you can see, it's Chamaecyparis piscifera True Blue. Now I will show you this tag. This is what was on the plant. It says that it's already down to zone 4, and the height and width is 3 feet tall by 2 to 3 feet wide. Now I wanted to do some research just to see for sure how big this evergreen was going to get, and I do really trust Isley Nursery. They have a website of a ton of evergreens, and they do have this on their website, same exact cultivar, and theirs says it gets 12 feet tall by 8 feet wide. And most of these tags are wrong when you look at how big they get, because the garden size is after a couple of years. The mature size is a totally different story. So I put it in this spot in hopes that it will get that big and I won't have to move it. It'll fill up this spot nicely and it shouldn't be an issue. One thing I will say is that these forsythia, while we did cut them all the way back this year and they grew a ton, I mean, that cane that you see is probably a good like 7 feet tall. They are kind of growing a little bit into where this is, so we're gonna have to cut all these back, which I was planning on doing this fall anyways. There's just a Rose of Sharon there, and there's about 4-ish feet from here to there, so that way if that continues to grow, you can still access that box pretty easily. There's really no evergreen interest in this area. Everything I planted here, there's no actual evergreens. The rest of this is all deciduous as well, so I figured having one evergreen would be nice here, especially if I decide to go along this area and do something else that isn't necessarily evergreen. And then as it grows, if I need to bump this bed out a little bit, I can easily do that. And then as long as we keep up on cutting back these forsythia once a year, they shouldn't get in the way of this cypress. I wanted to touch quickly too on blue evergreens specifically because they really tackle two different things. One is having nice winter interest when a lot of other stuff goes dormant, just like I was talking about. And the second thing would be having a blue element, because blue is really hard in plants to get. And thankfully there's a lot of evergreens that happen to have more of that blue color, especially throughout the entire 4 seasons, not just for like a couple weeks when you might have one specific perennial bloom. It's nice to really have that blue color that contrasts nicely with stuff. I've also realized with myself that I'm starting to become a little bit of an evergreen connoisseur because I'm really loving a lot of types of dwarf evergreen varieties, just a lot of different color and shapes and textures. So hopefully I can add a few more things like that in the future. But I figured for now, having a couple of these blue evergreens would be great because I added some others that were more on like the yellowish side or just green, but adding some blue in is really nice. And there's a lot of other stuff that gets really, really big, so these pieces will fit pretty nicely in my garden and hopefully in yours too if you don't have a ton of space. So that's it for me today. I just wanted to show you these couple of shrubs that I was putting in the ground. We are going to be getting a freeze tonight, so you can see these elephant ears behind me are probably going to be gone. Same thing with these banana plants. So I'm going to be working on cleaning up these gardens in the next couple of weeks just as stuff kind of dies back for the winter, and I will bring you along for that process. So besides that, I hope you guys like this video. Any questions or comments, feel free to let me know in the comment section down below, and I will see you in the next one.